Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? We got a great one for you today. We're here in a secret location in New York City, and we are interviewing the famous Billy the Artist from The Ultimate Evil, and I think this is going to be a good one. So, Billy.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
And of course, everyone recognizes that voice, but of course, no one recognizes you without the Giants cap and the mustache and the sunglasses. We should have put some sunglasses on you, actually.
Yeah, it's too late now.
So, Billy, I want to say thanks for meeting me here today. This is a very important interview in the history of this video series because we deal with Maury Terry and a lot of his bullshit, his lies, straight up, basically horse shit that he.
In case you people out there don't know, the Chinese word for bullshit is husao.
Husao. So we're gonna be hearing a lot of stories of husao today.
On both ends.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of an interesting story, which I know the outlines of, but I didn't get the details of. So we're gonna deal with all that today. And of course, we thank you so much for your time, and we won't take too much of your time. So before we get into it, into how you met Maury Terry and all this stuff, I just want people to kind of have an idea as to who you are and, like, you know, where'd you grow up? How'd you become an artist? You don't have to tell your whole life story, but, like, just give it an idea, like, who Billy the Artist is.
Yeah, I grew up in the Northeast Bronx, middle-class family. Just a mother took care of us, took real good care of us. She did all she could. I started drawing comic books when I was a kid, you know, and just translated. Then I drew graffiti for a long time, painted all the trains. I'm a well-known graffiti writer. Been in every graffiti clique that there is, you know, all the ones that mattered anyway.
And what year were you born?
Huh?
What year were you
I'm
born?
sorry, 58.
58. So then that means that when graffiti was getting started in what, 71,
Oh, yeah, I've been there from the start.
From the start.
I started in 72. You know, there was a few before me.
Right.
But, you know, I started 72.
Now, we're going to have to do another interview on your graffiti history because that's real fascinating to me. But today, of course, we're here to talk about your time with Maury Terry. So you were a graffiti guy. You drew like comic book art. And actually, the reason why I met you is because you were friends with Gary McNerney.
Yeah, we grew up buying comics together. You know, we were both comic freaks.
Is that how you met, like in the comic book store?
I met him through a mutual friend of ours, Rudy.
Rudy.
And Rudy knew him better than me. And from hanging out with Rudy all the time, I met Gary, and we became really good friends.
Right. So now, of course, I think we're just going to get right into it because you know, I'm just gonna read really quickly for the audience what Maury Terry said of you. I don't want you to comment on it. I don't want you to, we'll get into it, but basically he said that you were crucial and non-involved, that you hung out with cult members at Untermeyer Park in 1976, just before Son of Sam began. You knew people. You can get it. Don't worry about it. Well,
go ahead.
Just get it.
Keep going.
Yeah. They talked about animal sacrifices to you and all this stuff, and
listen, I'll call you back.
And that this guy.
Thanks for calling.
Sorry, we're here and we're doing this raw.
Everything's all right.
And that this guy sketched.
Okay, baby.
Maria Cortina. That you sketched Moloch. That you met John Carr and Ken from The Process and all this stuff. So Maury Terry had you in the middle of this entire thing. Now, before we get into all that at Untermeyer Park, how did you meet Maury Terry? Like, how did you get involved with him in the first place?
It was like the 20-year anniversary of the killings, Son of Sam, and there was things on TV and Current Affair.
Right.
Had a thing. I think he was a producer or something.
He was, yeah, on various things. Inside Edition, Current
Inside
Affair.
Edition, that might have been it.
That was it.
Yeah. And I was watching that, and they were asking, you know, if he acted alone or if this or that. And, well, I'm going to say something I'm not proud of, but, hey, we've all done shit we're not proud of. At the time, I was using heavy drugs, so I saw it as a way to make some money. So I called him up and told him, yeah, he didn't act alone. You know, there were people, and actually I really did think that a lot of these people were in there. I'd been to Untermeyer Park. I used to hang out there.
Now, wait, when was the first time you were ever at Untermeyer Park?
Oh, like a year or so before. Oh, no, back in the 70s.
So you were 70, so a year before. Like,
we hung out there when I first got my car in 76, so the slayings were going on at the time that I used to go there.
Right.
Funny thing is, in my neighborhood was where the killings were, you know, where he was shooting people.
Right.
And we used to go, I used to bring girls. I had just gotten my car, and no girls would get in my car and go parking. So I used to go up to Yonkers and park in Cook Field, which is around the corner from where Berkowitz lived on Lake Avenue.
so that's pretty ironic because you were trying to get away and you ended up in the same neighborhood that the dude was living in.
Yeah, you could see his windows from the park. I actually knew about Lake Avenue because I stole the Lake Avenue sign because I was an Emerson, Lake and Palmer freak, and I had
So was I.
I had the Emerson sign from from over by Throg's Neck. I had the Palmer sign by Co-op City. There's no Lake Avenue in the Bronx, but when I seen it up there, I was like, I gotta get that. So I had to complete the set.
You know, you're lucky you didn't get caught because Lake Avenue was pretty hardcore, man. They were some hardcore people.
Yeah.
All right, so you ended up at Untermeyer Park in what, 75?
In the 70s, yeah.
All right, and then what did you see at Untermeyer Park?
Well, when we first got there, they used to have the part with all the fountains and the things. You ever been there?
Many times.
They used to have that open to the public, and you could just walk in. I think now they closed it up because of bad publicity or people acting up. And I seen the fountains. I was like, fuck.
Just take it, man. People love this stuff. All right. So Untermeyer Park. You know. By the way, they've totally refurbished it. It's like
I know.
It's like a.
I know. I haven't been there in like a long time.
Yeah.
But when I seen the fountains, I was like, I gotta swim in that. And they're like, no, you're not allowed. I said, fuck that. I'm going in. So I went through. It's like 10 feet deep, man.
Yeah.
And the beautiful, crystal clear. You can see the bottom. I'm like, I'm going in. So I went in. We also went and swam in Hudson River over there too, all the way at the other end. But that's there.
Yeah.
So I used to go there. We'd go in the fucking fountains, and then we'd go up. We used to hang out up at the Eagle Nest.
At the Eagle's Nest. Now, was this always in the daytime, or were you there at night?
We used to go there at twilights.
Twilight.
Yeah, well, we worked. So after work, we'd all hang out and, hey, let's go up to Untermeyer.
Now, who was we? People from the Bronx here?
Just, my friends from here.
Okay.
We'd go up there with a case of beers and, some weed and whatnot.
Did you know a dude named Alphonse Gavila?
No.
Okay, he was from Riverdale, but he used to go up around the same time. I interviewed
people
him.
from all over. I met the people I met there. One of them lived right here up in Throg's Neck by St. Peter's Park. Actually, I gave him a ride home a couple of times.
I heard that a lot of drugs moved between Untermeyer Park and Co-op City. Did you ever hear about anything about that?
I don't know about that, man. We had our own places to get.
All right, so you're hanging out at Untermeyer, and you'd hang out into the nighttime.
Yeah.
And then what would you see there?
Well, we never seen we heard that there were the people, that there was a cult and they'd walk around in fucking hoods and shit. Right. I could curse, right?
Of course, as much as you want.
Oh, cool, because I fucking curse a lot. and they walk around in hoods and shit, and they have ceremonies with bonfires, and we really went up there because we wanted to see that shit.
Now, who told you this?
Huh? That's what my friends... We met people up there who told us this. I can't remember names.
Right, but local Yonkers people told you.
Yeah, and my friends said they heard that. They went up there before I ever got up there. So.
But you never actually saw any.
I never seen it, but people that I went up there once thinking my friends were there, so I went up to the Eagle's Nest. There was a whole new crowd there, and I had a case of beer with me. And they had a bunch of hot girls there. Right, so I says, oh, I'm sorry, man, I'm looking for my buddies. They said, oh, man, you can hang out with us. The girl said, oh, you can stay. So the girl wanted me to stay. I was going to stay.
Right.
So
you just...
So I hung out with these people for a while, and I went up there a couple of weeks, hung out with all of them. They were pretty cool. They were all right.
But Maury Terry is saying that you saw John Carr, that you saw the leader of the Son of Sam cult.
All right.
You saw...
The truth about all that is I kind of lied to Maury Terry, and just like he was lying to everybody else. And right now we're going to fucking pull the lid off the whole deal, all right? I'm sorry, folks. I'm not the most truthful person, right? So I kind of bullshit him. Hoosow! A lot of hoosow.
Now, it worked both ways because you said that Maury...
Yeah, I had these drawings, which you'll see soon if you haven't already. I had these drawings that I did in school of, comic book people The one of the old man is from a Conan book, and the one of the guy with the beard that's Jimmy Olsen in the disguise. And there's another one that I gave him of a girl crying, and I told her that girl was with this guy. Ken was the name I made up, and he says, "Oh yeah, there was a Ken there." He says, "Do you know where he was from?" I says, "I think he was from Britain, because he kind of talked like this." He goes, "Well, actually, he's from Australia," so it fit. You know, I'm like, holy shit, my bullshit is working. Meanwhile, he was bullshitting me. A lot of whoosah going on.
Right, right.
So, I kept going with the story. He showed me pictures of people.
Uh-huh.
Right? Now, I think I did meet Mike Carr up there once, because he was saying he was an artist and he was doodling shit and I was doodling shit. And, we were having fun together, laughing. I don't remember if his name was Mike or whatever, but
Right.
you know, we were just hanging out, smoking weed and shit.
So you think you might have met Carr, but you're not
I
sure.
might have.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Now, did you ever see David Berkowitz there?
No,
Did you ever see John Carr there?
I don't think so. I don't know.
And this whole
I didn't know what they looked like, so I might have.
Right. So this whole thing this whole thing starts with you calling Maury Terry on this radio
So
show.
I called
and then
him
what
up.
happens?
So I called him up to meet with him, and when he showed me pictures and when I showed him those things, he said, "Wow, this is that guy Ken," and he agreed with me about all of that shit, that it looked like this guy and the old man. He says, "Listen," he says, I want you to go to a funeral," and he described the old man as the rich benefactor who was taken in the book.
Yeah, Mr. Real
I had
Estate.
read the book.
Yeah, Mr. Real Estate.
Mr. Real Estate, I read the first copy, not the one that I'm in. You know, that was an update.
Right.
Mr. Real Estate, right? So he wanted me to go to the guy's funeral. I said, "I don't know, man. Like, well, you know, the people all there, you know, they're all gonna know that I don't know this guy." He says, "Well, he was a contractor. He did buildings and stuff. You do a lot of work like that. Just say you're a private guy. You know, you did some side work for him." Mm-hmm. He says, "All right." He introduced me to, I forgot this guy's name. He was a detective working on the case from Yonkers.
Was his name Kevin Murphy?
Yeah, Murphy. And he gave me his card. You know him? You talked to him?
I know everything about this case.
Is Murphy still alive? Is he still?
Apparently he's still alive, but he's not doing well. He might be on his deathbed.
I'm
or
sorry
have
to hear
died.
that. He was a nice guy. He was a good guy. Right? So they drove me there, gave me a whole bullshit story to say, you know, so that no one says, "Who are you?"
Right.
You know, so I went over to the casket, made like I knew him, and from force of habit, I made the, you know, not thinking that, hey, this guy's a supposed devil worshiper. I made the sign of the cross, and people were looking at me when I did that. So I was like, oh, fuck, maybe they are the devil worshippers.
Right. So you kind of were like buying Maury's story about these
Yeah, I
moral
bought
cultists.
into it. He wrote the book. He was on TV. Who am I to fucking doubt him? You know?
Right.
I just wanted to make some money. So I says, yeah, that was it. He gave me an undisclosed amount. I'm not going to say how much. I'm not going to, you know.
But Maury Terry, money did change hands. Maury gave you...
Money changed hands, but I'm not going to say what.
That's fine. We don't need to know how much. But when did this money change hands? Right when you first met the dude?
No. After I took him to Untermeyer Park and showed him something that he had no idea was there, the hole in the floor.
Mr. Williams' hole?
Mr. Williams' house, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And like, anybody who read the fucking paper back then, when it happened, knows about Mr. Williams. Hi, the hole in the wall. Hi, I'm Mr. Williams. I live in this hole. You know, I have several children in here who I'm teaching to be killers.
So that's
Wait till they grow up.
That's on Berkowitz's wall, but was
Yeah,
that hole...
exact,
But was
yeah.
that hole actually called Mr. Williams' hole when you were there?
No, I made that up. And like when he heard me say that, I says, yeah. I says, these people, they all refer to this as Mr. Williams' hole. And he says, what? I says, yeah, matter of fact, anytime they saw a hole, they says, hey, Mr. Williams isn't there. And they all giggled. And he's like, holy shit. So
Wait,
maybe-
who giggled? Who giggled?
The fucking people I was hanging with up there. I told them that they used to call it Mr. Williams. And anytime they saw a hole, like a hole in the wall, they says, look, Mr. Williams' house.
So you named it that after the writing on Berkowitz's wall?
Yeah, after that, yeah, that was in the papers like 20 years before this.
And so you knew that and you manipulated Maury Terry by
Yeah.
saying that?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
yeah, we were playing
bombshell.
each other, more or less.
So you think he knew you think he knew you that you were bullshitting him?
I don't know. Then he showed me pictures.
Okay.
Right, of people. He says, I want you to see if you can identify any of these people. I says, look, man, it was a long time ago. I was drunk. I was high every time I was there. I don't even know how I drove myself home most of the time. But all I know is the next morning I woke up, my car was outside, so I must have made it. Right, so I looked at the pictures, and I just picked at random. Like, yeah, oh, he was there. I think this guy. And then he tells me that, oh shit, he goes, 8 out of the 10 that you picked were people who were actually there. So now I'm thinking, holy shit, this is going great. I'm getting paid for this. And that's like more or less what happened.
Now I want to get back to the funeral. So did you have any clue who this dude was in the coffin?
I had no idea. I thought he was the fucking guy in the book.
And so you just said, yeah.
I could have looked to see what the name on the thing was, but I didn't. I wanted to get in and out. So he says that. If this guy was a real devil worshiper, like he's saying, and all the people at his funeral are devil worshippers, I don't want to fucking be in there, especially after I made the sign of the cross.
Right.
I don't want to fucking.
So you're saying, without a doubt, that you had no clue who that was in the coffin?
It could have been, and it couldn't have been. I had no idea who the guy was. But the funny thing is, he looked exactly like the fucking picture. Maybe this guy went to obituaries and found someone who looked like that, who died, and sent me there. He looked exact. The only thing is, the guy in the picture had like a wart on his nose. Yeah. This guy didn't have it, but he was facing like the other way, and according to Maury, the wart was on the other side of the viewing. Like when you view, you see him like this from this side.
Right.
He's like, oh, maybe the wart was on this side. So, okay, maybe. Who knows?
So you were just basically agreeing with whatever Maury said?
More or less. But things fell into place. The shit he said about Ken, I said, yeah, he's British. No, he's from Australia. Which makes up the accent story.
Right.
Right. The fucking, the old man, right? Looked just like him.
Right.
So he bought the fucking drawings I did. He bought the picture of Jimmy Olsen as this guy Ken. So it was going good for both of us. He had someone who I don't know if he really thought that I was there. Maybe he had this whole bullshit story going, and he finally met someone who was actually there, and he's like, oh, fuck, maybe this guy could expose me.
Right.
Which I'm doing now.
Right.
You know?
Well, he deserves to be exposed because this is just the icing, the cherry on top of
Supposedly.
a million lies that we found on this guy. So now, all right. So the funeral you're saying was basically made up. You made that story.
It was up in Yonkers, yeah.
So it wasn't in northern Westchester. It was in Yonkers, or do you really remember where it was?
Westchester.
Southern Westchester. And then what about this? Can you talk to us about this inside? Like you were on some TV show with Sarah Wallace.
No, I was on Channel 7 Eyewitness News with her.
Okay, and how'd that all come about?
He introduced me to her. And she said, we want to do a story, and she said, I met Billy the artist, they called me.
Right. And that's what we're calling you.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right, folks. I forgot. My name's Billy. I'm the artist. And actually, I told them to call me Fred. I don't know where the fuck they got Billy. I says, listen, I don't want to go on TV in case these people recognize me. They're killers, right? I had to play the part. So she says, oh, we'll disguise you. We'll put like one of them blurs over your face, and we'll make your voice sound like this so no one recognizes you, right? They didn't do that. They put a fucking giant hat on me and a pair of sunglasses. And anyone who knows me, I says, the giant hat might work, because anyone who knows me knows I'm a Jet fan. I would never wear a Giants hat. That's like putting a Yankee hat on me. I would never wear that shit. I'm a Met fan. See the blue?
Right.
And what was I going to say? Where was we?
Sarah Wallace, ABC,
oh, yeah,
disguise.
Right? So they put that on me and a pair of sunglasses. And we did the thing. I'm like, man, I hope. So I'm sitting there. My mother watched Channel 7, and they told me it was going to come on. I'm like, man, I hope my mother doesn't recognize me. 2 seconds after it came on, my phone rings. It's my brother. My mother answered it. Says, it's your brother. He wants to talk to you. I says, yeah, what's up, Dan? He goes, are you fucking crazy? I says, what are you talking about? What in the world could you be talking about? He says, yeah, I'm watching you on TV. I says, really? Where? I says, I'm not on TV. He says, Anthony, don't bullshit me. He says, I'm looking right at you. I said, on what channel? He goes, don't play stupid. He goes, put on channel 7. I says, Mama was watching channel 7. I said, yeah, it's on. You know, I couldn't talk right in front of her. I didn't want her to know.
Right.
And he screamed at me. The next day, I did side work in a carpet store. I went into the fucking carpet store. She goes, Tony, what's wrong with... I mean, Billy, the cat's out the bag now, isn't it, folks? She says, Billy, what's wrong with you? I said, what are you talking about? You knew those people. I didn't want to tell her it's you know, nothing.
Right.
I says, yeah, I might have.
Right.
She goes, are you crazy? What if they come after you? I says, hey, I'm a big boy, let them.
Right. Well, luckily you had nothing to worry about because
Yeah, I knew that, and you know that, and everyone
made up
else
the
knew
whole
that.
story. Now, so they bring you to Untermeyer Park. They slap a Giants hat on you, and did they tell you what to say? Like, how did you?
No, I told them. I asked them if they knew about the hole in the floor. They says, what hole in the floor? They says, was it dug out? I says, no. I says, it was the other side of a pump room, actually.
Yeah.
But we used to go down there, and when we went down there, we drew 666 on the wall. That was us. You know, me and my friends, not the Untermeyer crew.
Right. Did you ever go into what was?
Can you pull up a bit?
Did you ever go into what was called the Devil's Cave?
Yeah, that isn't that the same thing?
Nah, the Devil's Cave was over by the hospital, by the 1,000 steps.
The steps,
Yeah.
underneath the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went in there.
And what did you see in there? Did you see any graffiti, any satanic graffiti in there?
I didn't notice at the time.
Now, did they give you a script, or you just like
No,
said?
they didn't. It was all done by.
Well, let's just wait till they go in. All right, we're good. So it was all done by what?
We, you know, as we went, play as you go.
Just improv.
Yeah, I'm good at that. So
Now, just so we know, you're not telling me something that I want to hear in this story.
Not
You're telling
really.
me.
I mean, I think you want to hear it, but I'm not making shit. This is not Husal. This is, as best as I can recall.
This is what
Truth.
actually happened.
Yeah, more or less.
So you called Maury.
I'm coming clean, ladies and gentlemen.
So you called Maury Terry on the phone as a mercenary thing.
Set up all that shit. I was like, listen, man, do I get anything? He said, oh, yeah, we'll take good care of you if you're on the up and up. So when I showed him the hole in the floor, which was not like dug out, it was a wooden hole.
Right.
You know, the top was a wooden thing, and down below was concrete walls.
Right.
With I think there were the fucking shekels on the wall, if I'm not mistaken. And me and my friends used to go, but when I showed it to him, you couldn't go down because it was full of water. There was like maybe this much water. And when we went down there, we just climbed down there and walked around. I mean, you know, 20 years before.
Right.
And we all hung out down there. We thought it was cool. We smoked pot. We decorated the place. You know, I always had a can of spray paint with me.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And
Now, about this alphabet, because in that show, they said that you gave John Carr the alphabet to
Mike Carr. No, what was, I was tagging over there. I was writing on some shit, and this is how the guy who was the artist, I don't know which one it was, he says, oh, wow, that's an interesting, because I wrote with letters like that. I wrote the Crazy Five on an angle. Like, oh, fuck, no. Fuck you don't know who I am, all he is anyway. I don't really give a shit. I wrote the Crazy Five like that. And he's like, wow, that's interesting letters. And that might be how he got them. I told Maury that I wrote out the thing. Why, did he go back on TV and say that?
Well, he said that
he showed my alphabet that I wrote for him?
Yeah, he said that you handed that
He asked me if I could write the letters. So I wrote he says, can you write the alphabet like that? I said, yeah, sure. I says, go look at the fucking 2 trains. I says, here.
Well, I'll tell you what
and
he
I wrote
said.
it out for him.
I'll tell you what he said. We're going to react now to this, what this whole thing, what he put in the witness list. He said, the artist also says he was asked for an evil alphabet by John Carr specifically. John Carr. Did you meet John Carr?
I don't know who they were. I might have.
And you provided one. And that
I didn't provide the alphabet. I told Maury that. He saw the alphabet when I was writing on the wall. So they probably bit my fucking letters, you know, they probably...
Is it possible there was just another graffiti person that wanted to take those letters and use that?
It's possible.
But you don't have any clue that this was the actual person that then wrote the Son of Sam letter?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know that. Now, it also says that you...
My friends actually thought it was me writing to the fucking paper.
Really?
They says, you write letters like that, don't you? I said, get the fuck. I was looking at them. I was like, holy shit, because this is way before all this Maury Terry shit.
Right.
You know? They were like, hey, man, that looks like you're fucking writing. Are you going around shooting people? I said, no, fucking dope.
You know,
and it was in my neighborhood. You know?
Right.
You know? And they're like, I hear that you're taking girls up to Yonkers to park. Why? I says, well, if I was shooting people, I wouldn't fucking go up there. I would know that I'm not going to shoot them.
Right.
Right? It's not me.
Right.
I had to convince some of my friends that the fucking lettering... Yeah, the lettering fucked me all up, man, actually.
And you know, Berkowitz learned how to write that lettering in 1970 when he was in the auxiliary police department.
No shit.
I did a whole show on it.
Really?
I have documentation written by Berkowitz in 1970 with him writing the same exact lettering.
Shit.
Yeah. And I've analyzed those letters.
Okay, so you know I wasn't the killer. All right.
No one
tell
ever
that
thought
to my
you were.
friends. I'm going to tell them to fucking turn...
Now it says here you stopped. It says here you stopped hanging out when they tried to recruit you into the group. Did anybody ever try to recruit you into the group?
They talked some shit about dogs and there's dead dogs and shit. You know, they didn't say that they killed them or anything like that. And I'm an animal freak. If I see someone fuck with a dog, they're gonna fuck with me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So no cultists recruited you to try.
No.
All right. And then
he made up a lot of that shit.
And it says here that you saw a dude named Eggs. Did you ever hear of a guy named Eggs?
I did, but I don't think he had anything to do with them.
Really? You remember?
I hung out with, Jeff Egg. Oh, fried eggs, they called him. I think they called him that because he was fried, man. He was always lit up.
Really? But you don't have
That's true.
Right, but
I hung out with him.
But you don't have any clue if this guy...
I don't think he did, man. He was just one of the party people up there who happened to be like in the place where this shit is attributed to.
Right. Now it says you also...
I'll actually vouch for him.
Fried eggs.
Yeah, that he had no shit to do with it. But he asked me who was there, and I said his name. He's like more or less the only one whose name I remember. A girl they called Sunshine.
Yeah, it says here, Sunshine.
Yeah, I tried to get in her pants. Failed miserably.
It says here a guy named Doc. D-O-C.
I don't know.
And then it says here, Teresa from Hastings
there
or
was
Dobbs
a Teresa
Ferry.
there, yeah.
Okay. And then it says that you sketched Ken, which you're saying that you already had that sketch. And that it's for the camera again. Who the sketch of, quote, Ken was who again?
Jimmy Olsen in disguise.
Do you have these originals still?
No, I don't have the comic book. But I think maybe if you go online to Superman comics from the 70s and ask for Jimmy Olsen in disguise, maybe they'll have that.
That's very interesting. All right. And then it says here, Maria, who was always with Ken.
That's the picture of the girl who was crying.
Yeah.
That I also took from the same... It might have been Lois Lane crying.
But you never saw that person. They didn't even exist.
No,
so
I made her up.
Oh my God.
He should pay me more money for getting the fucking ideas.
And it says that you sketched Pete Perez.
Pete was the guy who lived in Throg's Neck. I didn't sketch him. No, nobody there looked like him. He was a cool guy. I'll vouch for him too.
All right.
He was all right, man.
And then they're saying that the guy whose funeral you went to was named James P. Donovan. Does that name ring a bell? Donovan?
I was told this afterwards, but it might have been. I don't know. I thought it was Maluk or Malak, whatever his name was.
But didn't you say Zoltan first?
I tried to make up a weird name.
So you
This guy had nothing to do with it. The guy in the picture wasn't nothing. He was just a creepy looking guy in the picture. When he told me there was an old guy, I says, oh yeah, look, he looked like this. And he tells me, wow, that's him. He says, do you remember what they called him? So I tried to come up with a fucking weird name. I says, I don't know, he had some spacey name. I said, Zoltan or Zanak, so yeah, some weird. He goes, it was Malak. I said, that's it.
So Maury gave you the name and you just agreed?
Yeah.
So now, what's your impression of Maury Terry? Did you tell the audience what was your honest impression of
At
this
the
guy?
time, I thought he was on the up and up. I thought he was trying to fucking unveil the truth behind the senseless killings, you know?
But then why did you then lie to him?
I wanted money. I had a bad drug habit. I wanted to get high. When I got the money, I gave my mom $300 to buy teeth. So if that counts for anything,
That actually does count.
I was a good son.
So Maury sold out the truth in this case for
Some money.
for some money and dental work.
Yeah, yeah.
And so how did you how did your relationship with Maury progress?
That's it. After all that, I never heard from him or seen him again.
And he never
After the trip to Untermeyer and the interview that I gave him and all the pictures and all the talking and Sarah Wallace, I never seen her. Actually, Sarah Wallace, I told her that my mom was sick and my mom watched her. And Sarah Wallace, true to her word, I love you, Sarah. She sent my mom a picture. I'll go get it when we're done and you can put it on your thing.
Sure,
Yeah.
that's great.
And it says, hi, Tina, thanks for watching. Hope you're feeling better. And Sarah Wallace, I love her, man.
Right. You know, Sarah Wallace, what she said about this whole situation was that she met you and she just assumed that Maury Terry was telling the truth about you.
Yeah, so did I.
She never vetted
did
you.
I.
She never questioned
So
you.
if any of you think Sarah Wallace is bullshitting on purpose, she bought the story too.
Right. All right, well, I think that that's pretty much it because I know that you don't want to stay here forever. I think that we have discussed pretty
No, I
much
had no-
everything.
Kitty!
Hey.
Stupid cat.
So do me a favor, Billy. In a nutshell, tell the audience again, what was the essential truth that we should know about this Billy the Artist story?
I would say that 99% of it was bullshit. The part of me going to the funeral was actually true. I did go to a funeral. I did go with that cop,
Sorry.
Murphy. I did go with him. He took me there. I did go to the guy's funeral. That part is true. I did hang out at Untermeyer with a bunch of people. I did meet Ken and that Jeff and the other guy. I forgot. See, look, I forgot already. His
Mike
name.
Carr.
I don't know. I might have.
You don't even remember at this
I don't
point.
remember.
But you didn't meet Ken because Ken
I didn't
was,
meet Ken. Ken
Jimmy
was
Olsen.
a fictional character.
Right. I just want to clear that up.
Ken was Jimmy Olsen, who he said was up there, who happened to talk like an English person, but he was really from Australia. So they say.
Maury said that this guy Ken was the lead, one of the elders of the
Yeah.
process cult.
And the picture of the girl crying you have that picture of the
I
girl
have that
crying?
picture. Yeah, I'm going to show it all.
Yeah, that picture was probably Lois Lane from the same comic book. You know?
And Maury do you think that he really believed you, or do you think?
I think he did. I don't know. If he didn't, he was a good bullshit artist, like
Right.
I was at
Right.
the time. A lot of Husao going on. For you folks tuning in late, Husao means bullshit in Chinese.
So, did you even know that Maury Terry died a few years ago?
No, I didn't. Till I spoke with you and Gary.
Right. Now, I just want you on camera because there's going to be people who say that I'm trying to get you to bullshit. Did you and I did we have any discussions about this?
No, none of this was scripted. None of this. I'm just telling like it was. Finally, the truth.
Right. Well, I think that's pretty much it, Billy. Unless you have anything else to say, I think we got what we needed to get done. We good?
Fuck Joe Biden.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I have a feeling this is going to be a real good one. So, everyone, thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next episode.
When are you
Take
going to
care.
put this on? Oh, I'm sorry, man. You still on?
Yeah, but Fuck it.
Don't get a view of my kitty. Get my cat. Stupid cat. And she's scared. She thinks you're gonna shoot her.